The streets of China are once again witnessing a wave of unrest, as workers across several industrial cities have risen in mass protests, demanding long overdue wages and better working conditions. What initially began as small gatherings outside factories has now evolved into a widespread labor movement, sending shockwaves across the country and drawing international attention. Reports emerging from China suggest that this uprising is one of the most significant worker-led demonstrations the nation has seen in recent years, highlighting the mounting frustration among the labor force in the face of economic challenges. The heart of the unrest lies in China's manufacturing and construction sectors, where thousands of workers have reportedly gone without salaries for months. Video footage circulating on social media, despite heavy censorship, shows workers chanting slogans, waving banners, and blocking factory gates to stop operations. In some areas, the protests escalated into clashes with security forces, with police reportedly attempting to disperse crowds using barricades and heavy presence. Protesters, however, have remained defiant, insisting that they will not leave until their demands are met. Observers note that wage delays and labor disputes have been simmering beneath the surface of China's economy for some time. While the country has been pushing aggressively to project economic strength and technological leadership, local industries have been struggling with cash flow shortages, declining demand, and debt crises. This has left many workers vulnerable, as smaller companies and even some state-linked enterprises have failed to deliver promised payments on time. The latest protests are a direct manifestation of these deeper structural issues. The Chinese government, known for its strict control over social movements, has so far responded cautiously. While state media has remained largely silent on the issue, local authorities in affected regions have begun negotiations with labor representatives. However, there are reports that plainclothes police have been monitoring gatherings closely, and some labor organizers have allegedly been detained. The government appears to be walking a tightrope, seeking to suppress unrest before it spreads further, while also attempting to address grievances that could spiral into a broader social crisis. International analysts believe that these protests could have significant implications beyond China's borders. As the world's largest manufacturing hub, disruptions in Chinese factories have the potential to impact global supply chains, particularly in electronics, textiles, and construction materials. If unrest continues, international companies relying on Chinese labor may face production delays, which could ripple across global markets already strained by inflation and geopolitical uncertainty. Western governments, too, are watching developments closely, with some experts suggesting that this labor uprising exposes vulnerabilities in China's economic model that could weaken its global standing. From a political perspective, the protests pose a delicate challenge for Beijing. The ruling Communist Party has always prided itself on maintaining stability and ensuring economic growth as a cornerstone of its legitimacy. Yet, the sight of workers openly rebelling against factory owners and demanding justice is a stark reminder that domestic discontent remains a powerful force. While the government has weathered protests in the past, such as those related to environmental concerns or COVID-19 lockdowns, widespread labor revolts strike at the very foundation of China's identity as the world's factory. The slogans emerging from the protests reflect both desperation and determination. Workers have been seen carrying signs that read "Pay us our wages, and we want justice, not empty promises." In interviews with international media outlets, some workers have expressed frustration that their contributions to China's economic success are ignored, while corporate executives and government officials live in comfort. These sentiments, combined with inflation and rising living costs, have fueled anger that could continue to grow if not addressed swiftly. Interestingly, some reports suggest that younger workers are playing a key role in mobilizing demonstrations. Unlike previous generations, today's young laborers are more tech-savvy, using encrypted messaging apps and creative methods to bypass online censorship. They are sharing updates, coordinating protests, and drawing international attention in ways that make it harder for authorities to completely silence the movement. This reflects a generational shift in how Chinese workers are willing to challenge authority, signaling that future labor disputes may be even harder for the state to contain. Economists argue that this unrest is symptomatic of China's slowing economy. After decades of rapid growth, the country is now grappling with challenges such as a property market slump, declining exports, and shrinking foreign investment. For many businesses, these pressures have translated into cost-cutting measures, often at the expense of workers' livelihoods. The protests, therefore, are not only about unpaid wages but also about the broader insecurity facing millions of laborers across the nation. Meanwhile, human rights organizations have urged China to respect the rights of workers to protest and assemble peacefully. They warn that heavy-handed crackdowns could further inflame tensions and attract greater international criticism. Already, comparisons are being drawn to earlier waves of labor unrest in China's industrial heartlands, where authorities often used a mix of intimidation and token concessions to diffuse tensions. Whether the government adopts a similar approach this time or chooses a more reform-oriented path remains to be seen. For global audiences, the unfolding situation in China is a reminder that beneath the image of a rising superpower, significant domestic challenges persist. The resilience of Chinese workers, who are risking their safety to demand what they are owed, paints a picture of both hardship and determination. It also highlights the fragile balance between economic growth, political control, and social justice in the world's second-largest economy. As the protests continue, all eyes are on Beijing's next move. Will the government attempt to quell the demonstrations through force, or will it heed the demands of its workers and address the systemic issues that led to this crisis? For now, the workers remain steadfast, their chants echoing across factory floors and city streets, a powerful message that cannot be easily ignored. What is clear is that this rebellion, born from unpaid wages and broken promises, has become more than just a labor dispute. It is a test of China's ability to manage dissent, uphold its social contract, and maintain the trust of its people in the face of mounting economic headwinds. The outcome could shape not only the future of Chinese labor rights but also the stability of the nation itself.